no more gangs. There's no more drummy, okay? It's out.
What are you able to protect yourself? We give it up right now, we'll be dead within 2 weeks.
We don't belong to any gang, we belong to a gang.
I don't see it, man. If you run about a gang, you get chipped. That's your hard lines, isn't it? You shouldn't grass, you shouldn't tell screws.
Members of the Shamrock Gang gather in the centre of Glasgow. Despite Frankie Vaughan's efforts on one estate, the Glasgow gangs still exist. In a city of over 1 million good people, there is still a minority prepared to resort to explosive violence for kicks. How did Joe Devlin, not yet 17, become leader of the Shamrock?
I've done my time inside. Everybody just, take me for a till man, because I do things people don't do, Like I say, I'm always at the front of the crowd if there's a fight, I'm always right in the front if there's any damage. There's nearly everybody who wants to get to the front, but I always see me end up in the front, when there's a fight.
You fight with your fists?
No, we'll use hatchets and that, other kind of weapons, anything at all,
You might kill somebody.
Oh, you don't think you're going to kill him. I mean, like say, if 60s plunge him at the same time, it's a good chance yet, but you don't think you're going to kill him till maybe after that. He might be seriously ill or something like that, But you don't think you're going to do him in, but it's happened a couple of times. Like I said, the boys killed that bloke in Fleet, did him in. Some of the boys did a bit of grassing. 4 of them stayed time. We don't like that at all. That's how we go down our town to see the score with them.
How did you feel when you heard that somebody had actually died there in a fight?
I get a good night's sleep after that. I don't bother.
Saturday night in Glasgow is busy night for the hospitals. Victims of casual violence queue for treatment alongside the 20th century's more orthodox casualties. In 1967, there were 1,465 reported crimes of violence in Glasgow. But the real figure is likely to be greater. The doctors have to take their patient's word for the cause of their wounds. It is often wiser not to talk. This boy said he fell on a bottle. Perhaps he did. Drink is often the fuel of violence, and alcoholism is 5 times more common in Scotland than England. It is not the only cause. The gangs will fight cold sober, while the drunks sit it out. Saturday night in the Locarno dance hall, and Glasgow belongs to its youth. Burly men watch warily for the known troublemakers. Glasgow sprawls over 62 square miles, but the entertainment spots are crammed into a few streets in the city centre. On Saturday, all roads lead to Sauchiehall Street. For most, the Locarno is a place for an evening's innocent enjoyment. For a few, it is a disputed no-man's land. Everything is planned to nip trouble in the bud. The front door is heavily guarded, and each male must submit to a frisking. Some are known to the doormen and are asked firmly to go elsewhere. But the weapons are not easy to find. Only the boys are frisked, and a sharpened steel comb slips easily into a handbag. The more experienced gang members take good care not to be caught in possession of an offensive weapon. Mr. James Cameron, Mecca's Scottish director, is satisfied his men do a good job.
We have been doing this searching since the war, in actual fact. We're looking for alcohol in Glasgow. It's a very well-known thing that you have a carry-out. And they have lots of these teenagers have half bottles of something. If it's not vodka, it's whiskey or something like that, and we're looking for it. We take it off them, give them a ticket for it, and they retrieve it on the way out. That's exactly why. At the same time, no doubt you've heard about the violence in Glasgow, and it serves as a double purpose nowadays. Should they have any weapons with them, we are able to find same. But we're happy to say it's very seldom we do find any weapon.
How many staff, how many sort of straight bouncers do you have in there?
Well, they're known as supervisors, ballroom supervisors. This word bouncer is it's outdated as far as we're concerned, but we have 12. And a very heavy front door staff, as you see, because we look upon it that the front door is to prevent them coming in altogether. But should anything unforeseen happen inside, we will stop it as soon as possible, as quickly as possible.
Some troublemakers succeed in slipping past Mr. Cameron's guard. Then the system moves into action to remove them as quickly and as speedily as possible. But there is no way of planning for the peculiar, unpredictable nature of teenage violence. To combat gang violence, the Chief Constable has formed a special squad of men, known to the gangs as the Untouchables. The police, who say they are on top of the problem, never officially use the word gang fight.
Sergeant Master, you're one of what I understand in Glasgow referred to as an untouchable. What's the word mean?
The Untouchable series was devised from a television series which was particularly popular in Glasgow. The plainclothes officers in America were used to combat federal offences, and the local youth have used this as a nickname for the group disorder vehicles which operate in the city.
You say group disorder, a gang fight?
Group disorder is a better word, I would say.
Sergeant, what exactly do you do?
Well, prior to 1966, there were numerous outbreaks of group disorders in the housing schemes of the city, and in January 1967, the Chief Constable formed in each division a group disorder vehicle composed of a sergeant and a number of constables. The object of this was to combat group disorder. Obviously, one constable or two constables on duty in the street coming across perhaps a number of youths engaged in group disorder were unable to combat this on their own, and these vehicles were brought in to being so that in the event of a call being received, they could be quickly dispatched to the scene and deal with the situation as they found it.
I've spoken, to young people here who say, or it's not gang warfare, but that they still sort of can't go off this scheme down into another scheme or down into other areas without the risk of running into trouble. Is this so?
I wouldn't say so. I think that's a ridiculous assumption on their parts. That any person can walk freely in any street in Glasgow without danger of being molested in any way.
Oh, Sergeant, people have been stabbed in the streets of Glasgow.
People have been stabbed in the streets elsewhere too.
A black eye gained in a fair fight is flaunted like a battle honour. There is little doubt that the gangs exaggerate their own importance, but surely behind their somewhat grandiose claims to have divided the centre of Glasgow among themselves, there is a lonely need to belong. They lay claim to territory and fight to hold it.
Shamrock's got a good bit of territory down the town, Dundas Street, Gale Street, they've got a good bit. And I like to say if any other team come into it, like say we walk about these places, if any other team comes in it, it's a fight right away. That's the way it goes.
What do you mean you've got this territory? I mean, this is an open street in the middle of a city.
Well, like say, it can be, Union Street in Glasgow, it can be run about there. That's their territory, We can't go along here, not unless maybe there's one or two years, because it's busy. They can't come along here. If they do come along, there's bound to be a team of them. That's a fight.
Do you keep the fights private among yourselves? I mean, I can walk down these streets.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you're standing there in a gang fight, you probably just get what anybody else is getting.
But if I just walk down it, I mean, I'm allowed to come down the street if I'm not with you or with one of the other gangs.
Well, like say, the Shamrock, that's one thing about them, they don't take liberties, but Cumbie, they take, like say, if they're running down a street, fighting and that, they just hit anybody.
Yummy, 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 with a sister Cumbie, and we feel like chubbing a tin.
The identification with the gang is sometimes total. The Cumbie gang claim the rapidly vanishing slumland of the Gorbals as their territory, but few live there. When I asked where they lived, they replied not with place names, but with the names of their nearest gang.
I live out beside the Shamrock.
I live beside the fleet.
I live beside the Bundy.
I live beside the
Government
Hull.
So most of you live north of the river?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, how you run with a gang on the south side?
Because of the best team in here.
Because everybody used to come for here. For the suicide, that's it, you just keep them back down to suicide.
And we're the best team in Glasgow.
It's like a regiment.
Oh,
It's like it is, isn't it? It's like a clan.
That black watch
It's like a
anyway.
clan. I mean, you stand by them.
It's just mates you've got. You get more
No.
mates out. You just be running about with one or two mates, you know.
Well, look at the birds we've got, they're brilliant. Oh, that's a dollar, yummy.
Two slaps.
Most people who come from the south look at the Gorbals and they say, hell with that place. I mean, that's really the worst place I've ever seen, and yet it means a lot to you. Why?
Because we originated from here, and we're going to stay here, no matter what comes up or what comes down.
You grow up here, don't you?
But what's it got that the new places haven't got?
Atmosphere. I mean, people are
Yeah,
friendly
really
down here now. I
atmosphere.
mean, the atmosphere in these schemes.